the tree that remembered the stars. In the golden cradle of northwestern Arabia lies a land older than stories, a place where sandstone cliffs whisper the names of forgotten kings, and the moon casts silver paths across abandoned caravan trails. This is AlUla, land of date palms, buried cities, and a silence so deep even the stars seem to listen. But not all that is buried is lost, and not all that falls from the heavens is forgotten. Tonight, we tell the tale of a tree and a star, and the oath that bound them both. Long ago, before cities rose from sand and before merchants traced lines across the map, there was a single, lonely valley deep in the heart of what is now AlUla. The land was harsh, and water was precious. Few dared live there, yet in the center of that desolate cradle grew a single date palm, small, weary, and half buried in rock. The people of a nearby settlement called her Tamra, not out of affection, but pity. She bore no fruit. Her leaves were few, and her roots, it was whispered, clung more to memory than to moisture. The villagers mocked her, favoring the lush palms that fed them dates and shade. Tamra became a thing forgotten, a tree neither useful nor beautiful. But what the villagers did not know was that Tamra was old, older than their fathers' fathers. Her seed had fallen from the sky, some said. Others whispered she had been planted by a jinn bride mourning a lost love. But Tamra remembered. Every night, she looked skyward and waited for the one thing that once promised to return. One windless night, when the stars were bright enough to cast shadows on the dunes, something moved in the heavens. A star fell, not like the quick streaks children wish on, but slow, deliberate, almost sorrowful. It landed not far from Tamra's roots, in a hush of silver light and scorched earth. From the crater rose a figure, no taller than a child, cloaked in shimmering veils of starlight. It was Luma, one of the 7 wandering stars, exiled from the heavens for defying the eternal order. Luma approached the old tree and whispered in a tongue that had not been spoken in 1,000 years. You still wait for me? And Tamra, though rooted in silence, heard. Her leaves trembled, her branches lifted. She had not forgotten. Once, long ago, when the world was new, Luma had blessed Tamra with celestial seed, a promise that she would one day grow to bear fruit not of this world, golden dates that would heal the sick, quench the soul, and soften even the hardest hearts. But the promise had been broken. Luma had vanished. Now, cast down from the sky, Luma came not to give, but to ask. The stars have turned cold. I have nowhere else to go. Will you shelter me, old friend? And Tamra, despite her barrenness, offered shade. Moved by the tree's faith, Luma pressed her hand to Tamra's bark. Light passed between them. Roots shimmered. Leaves unfurled like silken fans. And in the morning, the villagers awoke to a miracle. Tamra bore fruit, but not the kind they knew. Her dates shimmered like molten amber, humming softly when touched. Those who ate them felt old pain vanish, sorrows ease, and even their dreams became vivid again. The people came in droves, from every corner of the land. Pilgrims, merchants, nobles, and the desperate. Tamra fed them all, but only those with pure intent could taste her gifts. A beggar whose heart was full of gratitude wept after one bite. A widow who had lost her voice to grief sang again. Even a child, born blind, claimed he saw stars dancing in his sleep. But word spread beyond AlUla, to men with no thirst for healing, only hunger for power. He arrived in a caravan of silver and black. His name was Kazim, a spice lord from the north who believed all things, even miracles, could be bought. Kazim knelt before the tree, praised her beauty, and offered her gold. But Tamra gave no fruit. Angered, he returned the next day with laborers, who tried to dig around her roots. The next day, with saws to cut her down. But Luma awakened, rising in a tower of light from within Tamra's trunk. She summoned a desert wind so fierce it buried half the merchant's camp. When the sand settled, Kazim was gone. Only his gold remained, melted into the earth. From that day forward, Tamra bore no more fruit. Not because her power had waned, but because her lesson was done. Centuries passed. The village faded into dust. The world changed. Yet they say, if you walk alone in the deserts of AlUla, far from the roads and guided only by the stars, you may find an old tree standing alone, its bark scarred by wind, its trunk twisted, and beneath it, the faintest shimmer of gold. Some say it's Tamra, some say the star still sleeps in her heart, waiting for the world to remember how to be kind. In the silence of the desert, there are stories older than time. Some are written in stone, others in starlight and roots. And as the old Bedouin proverb goes, the tree that gives to all, remembers the hands that came empty. When you visit AlUla, walk softly, listen deeply, and if you see a single tree standing in the sand, offer it your shade. You never know who, or what, might be watching.